Look, there are two very important things to understand about Donald Trump that will pretty much tell you who he is. Number one, every accusation is a confession. He does a lot of projecting onto other people. But also, number two, he's a criminal. He's been a criminal. He is a criminal. He will continue to break the law. And that's why this story is not surprising for anybody that's been paying attention to Donald Trump's time in politics. You know how Donald Trump has been going around accusing other Democrats of committing crime, like Letitia James, Adam Schiff, and more? He's been saying they've committed mortgage fraud. Well, it turns out, according to new records, that Donald Trump committed that very crime, which he's falsely accusing Democrats of committing. Not surprising whatsoever, and the irony of this story is just so beautiful. So we're going to get into this stunning breaking news report from ProPublica, who does a lot of great work like this. Before I do that, make sure to subscribe down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about this story. And without further ado, let's get in. So let's just rewind the clock a little bit, back to September, when Donald Trump accidentally posted a text message he was supposed to be sending to Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, but seemingly uploaded it to social media. He said, "Pam, I've reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time, all talk, no action, nothing's being done. What about Comey, Adam Schiff, Letitia James? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is being done." Then we almost put in a Democrat-supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past, yada, yada, yada. Justice must be served. Now, two of these people on this list, Adam Schiff and Letitia James, again, he was accusing of mortgage fraud. With Letitia James, she was indicted. Then the indictment was thrown out. Donald Trump tried to have her indicted again, and a grand jury refused to do so because there's no evidence of Attorney General Letitia James committing this crime. He's just making things up, and even a grand jury wouldn't indict her the second time. You know, the famous saying is a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. Yeah, well, the grand jury didn't indict her, and that brings us to this story of Donald Trump's own mortgage fraud that, according to his definition, he has committed. So where's the Trump indictment? I'll be waiting for it. I guess I'll be holding my breath for the rest of my life. Let's get into it. For months, the Trump administration has been accusing its political enemies of mortgage fraud for claiming more than one primary residence. Donald Trump branded one foe who did so deceitful and potentially criminal. He called another crooked on Truth Social and pushed the Attorney General to take action, as we just read. But years earlier, Trump did the very thing he's accusing his enemies of, records show. In 1993, Trump signed a mortgage for a Bermuda-style home in Palm Beach, Florida, pledging that it would be his principal residence. Just 7 weeks later, though, he got another mortgage for a 7-bedroom, marble-floored neighboring property, attesting that it, too, would be his principal residence. That sounds like a lot of fraud to me. It sounds like Donald Trump is lying on official documents that he's submitting to the state, submitting to banks and whatnot. In reality, Trump, then a New Yorker, does not appear to have ever lived in either home, let alone use them as a principal residence. Instead, the two houses, which are next to his Mar-a-Lago estate, were used as an investment and rented out, according to contemporaneous news accounts and an interview with his longtime real estate agent, exactly the sort of scenario his regime has pointed to as evidence of fraud. So Donald Trump, again, let's just be clear, is accusing these Democrats of a crime that he's committing. That's why I say those two fundamentals about Trump, the projection, the fact that he's a criminal, are central to who he is. He's been doing this his entire life. That's also something that I think a lot of people in politics forget. That Donald Trump didn't suddenly become a criminal when he got into Oval Office. He's been behaving badly his entire life, whether it be scamming people who worked on his buildings out of money or alleged mortgage fraud, as we're looking at right now. This has been a bad guy for a long time. At the time of the purchases, Trump's local real estate agent told the Miami Herald that the businessman had hired an expensive New York design firm to dress them up to the nines and lease them out annually. In an interview, Shirley Weiner, the late real estate agent's wife and business partner, who was herself later the rental agent for the two properties, told ProPublica they were rentals from the beginning. Weiner, who has worked with Trump and his family for years, added, Donald Trump never lived there once. And that's according to the real estate agent. I mean, you have people on the record, you have these documents that prove it. Donald Trump should be, by his definition, in jail right now, indicted by some grand jury somewhere in the country. And you can see This is the address of one of the properties that Donald Trump, there was two, obviously, one of the addresses of the property that Donald Trump was committing fraud with, $3,000 per day he was charging. And here's another one. Oh, look at that. $45,000 a month Donald Trump was charging for both of these properties, or that property, I should say, on the bottom, that he was claiming as his primary residence. Mortgage law experts who reviewed the records for ProPublica were struck by the irony of Trump's dual mortgages, as are we. I am struck by the irony. They said claiming primary residences on different mortgages at the same time as Trump did is often legal and rarely prosecuted, but Trump's two loans, they said, exceeded the low bar that the Trump regime itself has set for mortgage fraud. How many times has something like this happened? I mean, it feels like an almost daily occurrence where Donald Trump is accusing somebody of doing something that he himself is doing. It can be whether, it's crimes or just politics as is. Whatever it is, Donald Trump is a major projector. Think about the Biden presidency versus the Trump presidency. Donald Trump constantly said, oh, Joe Biden's raising the costs of things. He's doing it intentionally, right? He's just ruining the economy. Of course, that was not true. And that in and of itself is projection. It's Donald Trump who's raising prices. It's Donald Trump who's putting these tariffs on everything and making everything more expensive. It's Donald Trump behind a lot of these things. So when you see Donald Trump get up on a stage and say the Democrats are doing this, my political opponents have done this, know that these are likely things he himself is doing. Think about the political persecutions he claimed against himself. He's the one doing that against Letitia James right now. I mean, this story is just such a perfect description of Donald Trump. Quote, given Trump's position on situations like this, he's going to either need to fire himself or refer himself to the Department of Justice. We can pray. I mean, that's obviously not going to happen, said Kathleen Engel, a Suffolk University law professor. Trump has deemed that this type of misrepresentation is sufficient to preclude someone from serving the country. He should be out of office right now, according to him. Mortgages for a person's main home tend to receive more favorable terms, like lower interest rates than mortgages for a second home or an investment rental property. Legal experts said that having more than one primary residence mortgage can sometimes be legitimate, like when someone has to move for a new job, and other times can be caused by clerical error. Determining ill intent on the part of the borrower is key to proving fraud, and the experts said lenders have significant discretion in what loans they offer clients. But in recent months, the Trump admin has asserted that merely having two primary residence mortgages is evidence of criminality. And he's using, for example, like with Eric Swalwell, the Democratic member of Congress also running for California governor, he has two homes. He has one in California in his district and then one in D.C. because he lives in both places, right? He has to be in D.C. to do his job, but he lives in the district that he's serving. And Donald Trump has been trying to claim that that is fraud. That is not fraud. That is not mortgage fraud. It is nothing like that. Yet Trump is doing this very same thing. Donald Trump was contacted by a ProPublica reporter after being asked whether his Florida mortgages were similar to those of others he had accused of fraud. And then, of course, as I mentioned, just hung up the phone, didn't want to talk about it. In response to questions, a White House spokesperson said Donald Trump's two mortgages you are referencing are from the same lender. There was no defraudation. It is illogical to believe that the same lender would agree to defraud itself, which is obviously not really striking at the heart of the story. Even if it was the same lender, you have getting more favorable benefits, tax benefits, things like that. That's where the real crime comes in. But man, what a surprise. And I say that sarcastically. Look, I just had to bring you this story because, again, I think it's a perfect representation of Donald Trump. Really, I do. So look, I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe down below. Drop a like on the video, comment. Let me know what you think about the story. If you want to read the full article, the headline is here. But as I always say, have an amazing rest of your day, and we will talk soon.